I'm Jasmine, this is Moxie Points, and today we're going to do something a little different from my regular album reviews. I didn't have time to review BTS's Greatest Moment in Life Part 2, or FX's latest album, 4 Walls. But the videos for both title tracks have left people scratching their heads, so today I'm going to talk about various symbols that can be found throughout both music videos. We'll look at what those symbols might mean in conjunction with the song lyrics, as well as what they might mean in relation to their tales of love and youth. Let's get started. Now let's start from the beginning. One of the first things you'll notice is that neither of these stories are particularly linear. The videos jump between different times and, as some would argue, different timelines or dimensions to tell their stories. The FX timeline is pretty simple and circular. The girls start their day, an incident happens, starting a chain reaction of other incidents that lead them to another place. Then they return to set right the wrong. Pretty simple. Now BTS, on the other hand, has Run, I Need You, and the prologue, without any real hints to the proper sequence of the events. In addition to this, we have Jin seemingly possessing precognition, or the ability to see into the future, or knowledge of something before it happens, and possibly some similar ability from Jungkook based on this shot. In order to understand what is implied here, we have to look at the cinematic language being used, most notably the matched action cuts of FX and the Kulisov effect for BTS, with a little matched action as well, just to mess with your head. What do I mean? Well, a matched action shot is just what it sounds like, editing around an action to make it appear seamless. But this can also be used to imply a connection between two apparently unrelated shots. One of the best examples of this is in Stanley Kubrick's 2001 A Space Odyssey. And yes, eagle-eyed viewers, this film is referenced plenty of times in Top's Doom Dada music video. Man, I've got to make an analysis video for that too. One day. Okay, back to Kubrick. The bone transforming into a satellite implies a connection over thousands of years of man's progression. Likewise, BTS uses this matched action method to connect different scenes and times. J-Hope and Jimin in the empty room doesn't have any direct connection to the party scenes, but a connection is made through the transition of a pillow fight. Most of the matched action scenes involve J-Hope. These scenes unstick him from time and allow him to see multiple moments in his life, some possibly only in his mind or memory, and draw a connection based on the editing. The same editing technique is used for 4 Walls to a different effect. Instead of connecting different times, the match cuts for FX are used to give the impression that all the girls are the same person. Their actions match and their cuts occur during transitions to imply that they are all one person, or 4 people living identical lives. We see them wake up, get dressed, start their day, each performing the same action and never seeing more than one person at a time in the same frame. Speaking of frame, let's talk about the aspect ratio of this thing. It is a perfect square. In this time of widescreen HD video, the use of a 4x4 frame is completely intentional. The only other time this occurs in a modern video is when the room is spun, a la NSYNC Bye Bye Bye. The room must be the same length and width for the illusion to work. So the aspect ratio here is used to signify 4. The girls ending up in the forest has been connected to Alice in Wonderland, but looking at the editing, it's a little more like The Wizard of Oz. In the 1939 film, Dorothy starts out in Sepia, Kansas, and is transported to the colorful Oz. Likewise, FX is trapped within these 4 fixed walls, and it isn't until they enter the forest that the world, quite literally, opens up. The ratio switches to widescreen, and the pale, washed-out white is replaced with vibrant color. And about those colors, BTS's music video seems to have a harsh gray throughout. Gray skies, bleak city, while FX also starts with gray skies and switches to an almost clinical and sterile white. White, of course, representing innocence and purity. In this case, it could be that the girls' naivete to the importance of an event is trivial as breaking a teacup. The forest is full of lush, natural greens. Green is the color of renewal and growth, of blossoming, which is exactly the type of experience described in the song lyrics. Green is a combination of yellow and blue, so it's said to combine yellow's optimism with blue's insight. Before we delve deeper into the colors with FX, let's take a look at blue from BTS's point of view. Blue is most notably used in the Most Beautiful Moment in Life Part 2 cover, opposed to the red in Part 1. Red is the color of energy and passion, it's the color of action as well as anger, and fits well with the first part of the album. But the cover of the second part is not only blue, but also shows a butterfly. Blue is the color of honesty, trust, and loyalty. All of these traits can be seen throughout all 3 videos and the boys' friendship. The brash power of Part 1 is juxtaposed to the more introspective Part 2. Except that song goes off. The butterfly, not a caterpillar, shows the end of the transformation, and blue is related to communication of the voice and speaking the truth through verbal self-expression. Definitely a message found throughout the album. The butterfly is beautiful, fragile, and ephemeral, but it takes a lot of work to get to that state. FX also spot a butterfly. Their fleeting beauty is purple and orange, like the album art. Orange offers emotional strength in difficult times, and purple is the color of imagination, which is probably why we see it in the forest scenes and not in the everyday life shots. Purple is said to help those seeking spiritual fulfillment, which might explain the butterfly's presence while they search through the forest. Also why Luna is the only one wearing purple, and is the one moved to action trying to go back in time to save the cup. Amber and Crystal are seen wearing pink in the forest, and all of the girls are filmed in a pink light. Pink, of course, is frequently linked to love. And I know it's easy to forget if you aren't fluent in Korean, but Four Walls and Run are both love songs. They both talk about blooming love. But FX also mentions a blue light. Okay, side note, I did a review on SHINee's Odd album and there was mention of blue light during a live. The blue light digs, spreads, and describes the heart in the song. Blue is also used to describe him moving like a wave, which brings us to water. Water is typically associated with life and rebirth because people are primarily made up of water. Water is often connected to our own creation as humans in many myths. It is also related to healing or cleansing, which is why water is commonly used in different religious acts. V willingly jumps into the water, while Crystal is seemingly sucked in. Keeping in line with transformation, V resurfaces, and Crystal, or Victoria, depending on your interpretation, resurfaces as a more enlightened Luna armed with the knowledge to protect herself, Victoria from slipping and hitting her head, or protecting herself, Luna, from stepping on the shattered cup and wounding her foot. Speaking of wounded feet, listen to this. I don't have anything to add here, it's just that I've been writing about these two videos for so long now that everything is starting to cross together and my brain feels like it's leaking out of my ears. So much symbolism! Another thing connected to water is self-reflection. Quite literally. One is able to see his or herself in the water. FX uses reflection in their lyrics about a mirror. Now I mentioned earlier how the editing sets up the ladies as basically the same person. This doubling is used in the lyrics to show a deep connection and love, that they are practically the same person. In the mirror, they see their lover and not themselves within the four walls. Now, I've seen plenty of theories that explain the four walls as meant as stability and a good foundation for the group or for a romantic relationship. And 4 is the number of stability and order. It is frequently associated with nature as well. There are 4 cardinal points, 4 moon phases, 4 elements, 4 seasons. 4 is dependable on the natural way of things. You know what there are also 4 of? Suits and a deck of cards. The cards aren't used how they should be for BTS, but instead show the vulnerability of a house of cards, and the house of cards, like a butterfly, is beautiful but easily harmed, as shown in the video. This scene outlines another important editing feature in the Kulisov effect. This is an editing feature that allows us as an audience to draw a connection between 2 seemingly unrelated things in order to understand a character. For example, the man looks at the soup, we know that he's hungry. The man looks at the woman, we know that he wants to be with her. In the Run music video, Jin has a few That's So Raven moments where he looks off, seemingly into the future, and we make the connection with the next scene shown. He sees V in the water, he sees all of them running, he sees the house of cards falling again. None of these scenes are connected, but because we have Jin's reaction shots, we connect them ourselves. He sees a submergence, falling, and running. And for an album about the most beautiful moment in life, the video gives a bleak, almost hopeless picture of life. While FX are met with vibrant nature and wildlife in the form of butterflies and a horse, the horse being said to lead you to your destiny, BTS are met with a rough urban landscape. There are no beautiful animals to guide them, and their interactions with anyone besides the other BTS members is inhospitable. Sometimes it's by the hands of others, and sometimes BTS instigated themselves. They seem completely at odds with their surroundings. And aside from a few driving scenes, we don't really see them interact with the world at all. There's a train that they don't ride, there's a tunnel that they run, not drive through, and they are by the water without going in it. The party in the boxcar happens, of course, not actually in the boxcar. They seem alien to the world they inhabit, like runaways. And when they are faced with the real world, it's at a distance or abruptly. Here's a cop car, meet it with your face! Any number of these symbols may be combined in any order in an attempt to make sense of the video. The boys, rejected by the world, live in the city's underbelly, relying on their own friendship. But that bond, like a house of cards, is beautiful, but can be shattered. The girls live in a mundane, overly controlled world, and perform an act of rebellion only to discover that things should be made right again. Jin is able to understand the fleeting essence of youth, and the boys make the most of it while they can, even in the face of a bleak, joyless world, determined to run, as their own substitute for flying away from their troubles. Love happens with great impact and can transform you into a magical place, sweeping you up like a great wave and leaving you wiser for the experience. The stories are whatever you make them to be. Why is Victoria more afraid than curious in the forest? Why are J-Hope and Jimin in so many scenes together? What's the importance of documenting with a camera and a camcorder? Why do the ladies see frozen versions of other members in the forest and not themselves? What's with so many solo shots of Jungkook, V, and Jin? Because if you remove them, that leaves 4. Nope, can't. Video's over. I give up before I give myself a nosebleed. Happy hunting and theorizing. The videos are, like they say, beautiful, a mysterious maze. Hope to see you next time.